Hello, everyone, and welcome to the If We Be Friends Roundtable, the crew. So I'm Harry Downing, I'm the producer and also the host for this evening, and I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Bryn Jackson-Farrer. I'm the director.
I'm Jo Poole, I'm the AD.
And I'm Tahlia Ribbons, and I am the writer.
Hi, I'm Gabrielle. I was the director of photography on the film.
I'm Amy Zimmer, and I was the art department of the film.
I'm Morgan Cotter. I'm a camera operator on the film.
The big question, what is your favourite film? Jo, yours is Lord of the Rings, we know that, so we'll move on.
Absolutely, I just love the goblins.
Goblins are a highlight, to be fair.
I would say my favorite film is The Royal Tenenbaums, because I watch it like every year with my brother. It's probably not something to advertise, but the family is quite similar to my family, so it's like,
Gabrielle, what are you not telling us?
No, not that. I'm just like, oh, the dad and the mum dynamic. I'm like, yep, that's like my parents, and yeah, so it's like relatable, but it's a good film.
I thought about it for a while, but I think my favorite film is called Cecil B. Demented.
Oh, John Waters.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love it. I only watched it for the first time this year, and I was like, yeah, that's my one.
Rocky Horror, probably. It's a nice classic.
Oh yeah.
For me, really. Yeah.
I think Jo and I have already answered, both with Lord of the Rings.
My favourite film is Rocket Man, or like The Little Prince.
I do rather like Lord of the Rings as well. But if I had to choose a favourite, Stand By Me. I just love Stand By Me. Or Shawshank Redemption. I know that's probably like it's probably like a very like stereotypical answer, isn't it? But I love Stephen King. So Stand By Me, Green Mile, Shawshank, anything that he has done, and inspiration. What you, Harry?
I have 4 favourite films at the minute. So mine are Casino Royale 2006 with Daniel Craig, La La Land 2016 by Damien Chazelle, 1917 by Sam Mendes, and Baby Driver by Edgar Wright. They're my like top 4 because I can watch them till the end of time and I'll always love them. Who was kind of everyone's inspiration for, I put filmmaking because as we are the crew, so kind of who was the one or several individuals that kind of led you to the path that you guys are on now, really, that chose this particular field?
I used to like watching the behind the scenes of the old Star Wars movies, and I used to love seeing George Lucas and all the people working on the set, and it seemed like something I really wanted to do.
I feel like I had several, because I sort of started out wanting to be an actor. So I guess like influences from that. But then I thought like I wanted to be a director. Like I watched Lost in Translation and like a lot of these other like really great female directed films, and I thought they were kind of pushing the boundaries of like, I don't know, what you're used to seeing, kind of what came up in like the 70s and 80s, like very male dominated kind of films. And so that was really inspiring. And then from that, obviously like the famous Roger Deakins was an inspiration. I watched Blade Runner 2049. I was like, this is the most beautiful film I've ever seen. But him and a lot of others were kind of led me more towards cinematography of directing, I would say.
I feel the same way. Like I think I've had quite a few different influences, because when I was younger I used to love like American Beauty, but I don't really know whether it was just like loads of like teen angst, and I was like, yes, this is fueling me. But as I got older I kind of went into like fine art, so I come from a fine art background, so I really like a lot of Steve McQueen's like early stuff that he did at art school. It's just amazing, like it's so cool. And I think that there are a lot more films, I don't know, that are maybe a little bit less commercial or more on the kind of I don't know what to call it, like audio visual side rather than film, but it would still come under film. Yeah, and obviously I'm kind of skilled in the art side, so it made sense for me to maybe look into doing art department as my first little thing.
I mean, originally it was probably Peter Jackson and the rest of the crew with The Lord of the Rings. Take it back. To stop this conversation becoming too one note, though, I should probably name a few others. More recently, I have very much liked the films of Taika Waititi. I had to keep it in New Zealand. It is a great place to film anything. I've also got a lot into documentary in the last few years as well. So there are a lot of films like Into the Okavango, and actually the work of the recent years' work of Ben Vogel, who actually has made some very authentic and thoughtful documentaries in the last few years. Yeah, and apart from that, like all too many others to mention, really. All sort of classics, you know, your Star Warses and your imitation games and so on.
Originally, it wasn't writing so much that I got into. At first, it was just films in general, and which kind of led on to writing. And that was my uncle Toby, who was massive on films. They were one of his biggest loves, and through him, I had a love for filmmaking, for films. And then I was 10 years old at the time when I started loving films. And then from that, it just stemmed into me thinking, oh, I wonder how they make all these awesome stories, and you know, where does it all begin? And then it just developed from there, really. And I think Stand By Me was one of the first films I ever fell in love with completely. So that just kind of branched out from there, really. Yeah, but my uncle and then my family. In the industry, Stephen King was always one of my favorite writers. So then seeing his stories turn into films, that's where Stand By Me comes in as well for me. Just kind of started from there.
I don't really know. I never really got into filmmaking. It was more sort of learning about people's stories. So similar to Tahlia, like the people around me and my family and friends, and like sort of using their experiences or stories and retelling those, I got interested in. And then filmmaking sort of makes that cool, and how you can make that exciting for other people to learn about. So I guess that's how I got into it.
In the industry, of course, Steven Spielberg, Damien Chazelle, Christopher Nolan, they're probably big inspirations of mine. But I love all filmmakers. Like, I can watch any film and think there's something about each one that there's something unique about it, or how it was filmed, how it was shot, who's in it, how it was put together, the production, whatever it may be. There's always something about each individual film that I love watching, that that I gravitate towards. So the answer is infinite. I have a list of like so many of those that do inspire me. So, but the top three are probably Damien Chazelle, Spielberg, and Nolan. But in the real world, I'm inspired by like my tutors that taught me at Bradford College, or that taught me at A-level as well, because they were the ones that kind of, you know, you could talk about film and no one would tell you to shut up. They encouraged you to talk about film all the time. And so it was nice to have that. That's in the real world. But I'm always inspired by everybody.
That's really nice.
I feel like I neglected to mention people in my life.
Sorry,
my answer as
cut
well,
back to
I apologize, because they have also been very important. Tutors are like you, Harry. In school, actually, quite a lot. People I've met along the way, peers in the last few years who have been into sort of storytelling and visual media, like I am, and that has led to sort of creating things and me realizing what a fulfilling thing it is to do. And my mum, who's been sort of supportive of everything I've done all the way.
What is the best part about your role?
I think for the camera operator, to see how it was all laid out, it wasn't necessarily the role that I found intriguing. It was the fact on how a set crew actually works, because I'd never seen it before other than like on screen, and it was nice to see the change in tempo and how people were moving around and basically how it works on a set, which was nice to see.
One of the nice things about being like the DOP and camera operating is like seeing the actor's performance. Like, you're literally seeing it firsthand in a way, like you're the one that's seeing the frame. So that's kind of nice because you have this sort of control, especially like because a lot of it was handheld. Like I really had a lot of control to like shift things to be like, oh, actually, this is kind of more the performance that they're giving lends it more to this. So I don't know, it's kind of nice to be able to change the framing to like fit the story, and especially the way that we filmed it, where a lot of it was very actor led and like performance led, sort of working around that as like a puzzle. I like a little bit of a challenge. Maybe sometimes it was maybe too much of a challenge, but I like a little bit of a challenge. I was like, okay, let's work this out. Let's try and find the best way to do this scene. That was kind of like a fun experience.
I think like I had quite a lot of responsibility, which at first was very scary because obviously it's quite a lot to do by yourself, and obviously I had Joe's help as well, but I know that they had other responsibilities as well, so it's kind of like, okay, well, I've got to get this done. But I think it was, like Gabrielle said, quite nice to have that control of your like little department kind of thing, and it was nice to not have to like argue with someone about how I wanted something to look. Like it could just look like how I wanted it to look, which was kind of cool. Yeah, and obviously it's so nice to see, especially in like set dressing, like see people moving around that set and like using it, or yeah, obviously with costume as well. That was really cool. Yeah, and just being on an actual film set, it was very rewarding to see how it all works.
You got a lot of compliments from the actors that I've interviewed already of the choice of costume and art and such like that. And
I
was
love
like,
the costume.
honestly, the costumes were fantastic.
It's really scary because obviously being by myself, I didn't have someone to be like, oh, do we think that this is going to work? I just have to show it all to like Bryn and Tahlia and be like, do you like this? Do you think they would wear it? Like, and yeah, luckily a lot of the actors were really happy with what they wore. But yeah, oh, that's really nice. Thank you.
I feel like in my role, I got to know everyone, and I got to know the actors and crew sort of in depth.
I felt the same as producer. I felt the same as a producer.
And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed sort of getting to know everyone and understanding like their stories and what brought them to NIFA, or like what intrigued them about film. And I thought it was great.
I'm pretty much the same, actually. It was getting to work with everyone and seeing all their talents manifest as work, and then that all come together.
I would agree with that. It was the community side of NIFA that as well that I was drawn to. So having that community of like-minded people, of you know, people who have the same kind of goals, want to make a film, want to, you know, get creative, has been a really wonderful part of this whole experience. And when it comes to the writing specifically, what I've always liked about it is that there aren't really any limits when it comes to filmmaking actually, or creativity. You can write anything, and as long as you can make it work. And I like that, not having that boundary, really, because, you know, in a lot of ways, NIFA didn't really give us a lot of they didn't give us a lot of restrictions. It was pretty open, kind of really what we wanted to make. So getting to do that with people like you guys has been the best thing that I'll take away from this crazy ride. I'm glad that we got to do all of this with the team that we've got. That's the best part of my role for me, is that we've got this incredible team to do this with. It's, you know, it's been mad. It's been mad. It really has, but in a great way.
I agree. Is that best part of my job as a producer was being involved in this film from beginning right to the end, and having this sense of community in which I got to be friendly with everybody. Like you could just go around and chat with anyone about anything, like everyone, because we all were the same like-minded people that have the same interests, the same goals. It's nice to just talk to everybody about that. Like I quite enjoyed when we were having like dinner, or, you know, together, like in the university, sorry, and we'd all just be there, just sat chatting about life and everything, and realizing we're all quite similar. I just thought, I love this. But as producer, I think it was great that I could sort of go around everybody and ask, are you okay? Like, can I help you? Like, what do you need? What makes you feel better? Kind of thing. And if anything, that could be also assigned to your role as well, Joe. Like the two of us together, we were kind of like the mum and dad of the group in that we were going around everyone like, you're all right, pet. You're all right. You're all right, love. You're all right there. You're all right. Like, how is everyone? And then we'd to help them in some way. Because I quite like helping people. If you could describe If We Be Friends in one word, what would that word be?
Naive.
Constructive.
Tension.
Exploring.
It's my word.
Is it actually?
For God's sake.
Got there
I was
first.
so excited to say it. I was like, yes, I've got this. I've got the word.
Yeah, no, I was saying it's good though, right? I mean, great minds think
Yeah.
alike. It's quite a good. Yeah, I think it works.
Advancing.
Growing. What were you doing 6 years ago? So because our film takes place over from one period 6 years later, what were we all doing 6 years ago? I will gladly start. I was just starting at Bradford College, going to university. I was 18 years old, going into the world of uni. And it's scary to think it was 6 years ago.
I was starting upper sixth, I think. I would have been 17. So yeah. So I was about to do my A-levels, apply to uni. It was like, now I think about how much stuff I did then, and this is insane to me. Like now if I have like one thing in a week, I'm like stressed about it. I'm like, I was like applying
the rest of my days.
yeah, like I was researching uni, applying to unis, had to do all my UCAS stuff, and then I had to do, revision and learning, and like, but then like also, I was doing drama and acting, and like, I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, why did I need to keep it's probably why I didn't have anxiety. I was so busy. I was just like, there's no time. But yeah, no. So yeah, I was gonna get ready for applying to unis and all that kind of stuff, and so I guess like a stressful time, but I was not very stressed when I was 17.
Wow, I
know, I was very like really like chill. I was like, everything's gonna be fine, it'll all be fine, and now I'm like, oh my god, to go back to that would be great.
I was starting year 9, choosing my GCSEs, so that was quite stressful. A lot to choose, so and because there was nothing there that I really wanted to study, didn't really matter to me. I didn't really know what to do, so very stressful.
Wow, it's crazy you're only in year 9. I was 15, so I was in the year of taking my GCSEs.
I think I was starting my GCSEs.
Were you actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing hires.
Hires?
Hires, like
A-level.
Yeah,
Scottish.
basically. Yeah.
Oh,
Scottish
okay.
A-levels.
Well, actually, I don't know, was this September? I might have been in Borneo.
Were you there on a school trip, or was it one of those like...
Yes, I was there on a school trip. That was quite a formative experience as well. It was my first real adventure, and to be honest, yeah, it kind of was a platform for me going forward. I don't know if I wouldn't be quite the same person, I suppose, if I hadn't done it.
So 6 years ago, 2015, I was also starting college to start my HNC in creative media production.
I did the exact same. HNC,
yeah.
I did, yeah, creative media
Oh,
production,
and
yeah.
then top of year, HNC, HND top of year, did you do?
Yeah, I did HNC and HND creative media production, and then my third year, the BA was film.
But my actual degree is in visual media.
Oh.
But we did everything in that course, so it was quite all-inclusive. But 6 years ago, we did the great marks.
Oh.
So that's what I was doing 6 years ago. I was taking the plunge and doing college, uni.
It's a big one, another big one, as usual. What's been sort of your favorite moment on or off set that kind of made you feel, like this is going to be a memory, or this is like what I love about this film, or being with these people?
I think the night after like we all met, I think that was something that I found very helpful, because it was a nice way to ease into it. I mean, we had these calls, but it wasn't really the same. and to have the like the face to face, it was easier to talk to people and to like socialize a little better. So yeah, I mean, for someone who has anxiety, and I know a few others do, I think it helped a lot of people, and it was clear to see that that was helping.
Mine was more like a specific thing, which was just that for some reason, every time I was setting up, sometimes I'd be like setting up the camera, and every single time the actor realized that they were in shot, would then just start pretending they were in some music video. Which I was like, this is, I mean, it's sort of helpful, but I'm trying to like work out focus, and they'd all be like, yeah. I was like, what is happening right now? So you're not in a rap music video, relax. But it happened every time, and with different actors as well. So clearly they all secretly want to be in a music video, I think was really the takeaway I got from that.
I feel like I had quite a lot of fun with Jo, because I guess on set she was like ADing, but because I'd kind of done my stuff in like the pre-production whilst we were actually filming and stuff, I didn't have that much to do, so it was quite nice to just like, I don't know, joke around or like mess around a little bit, like obviously not in like a really disturbing way, but like it was quite nice to have a little buddy who also could just like sit at the side. But yeah, also like I made really good friends with Jeannie and Melina, which was like crazy and basically just like straight away. So I definitely think that's one of the things I look back on and I'm like, whoa, that was cool. Like just how we happened to be in the same group, and like we kind of like on the first day when we met each other, like I just gave Melina a hug straight away. Like, I don't know, it was pretty powerful.
Those are my mother's favorite flowers.
Those are my mother's favorite flowers that you're desecrating. Those are my mother's favorite flowers that you're desecrating. Those are my mother's favorite flowers that you're desecrating. Those are my mother's favorite flowers that you're desecrating.
Feels like we're in some kind of purgatory.
I was certainly stand out, yeah.
Oh, who's going to start that question? That's a good question.
That was my answer.
I was like,
Well,
it's a good answer. It's definitely a defining moment. So, do you know, that kind of thing there would be my answer. How quickly we all kind of fit in with each other. That's one of the best memories I have from this set. Everyone just fit so well. And you know, I think one of the first nights we all had dinner together in the hall, although Jo and Charlie and a few others weren't there, but the ones that were there, it was just like, oh wow, we're here, and actually this is not awkward, this doesn't feel weird, this feels great. When we went to Spoons, we all had food together.
Spoons was super nice.
That was a really nice, we were all cramped up on this tiny little like table, all of us, all like nearly 22 of us, all cramped up on this table, and it was just awesome that we were all just like had all that like food together, we were all just like, you know, chatting, drinking. It was just so, I loved that, how well we all gelled together, going out for coffee or going out for those really late night walks to McDonald's.
That's my favourite thing. When we
loved it.
Was such an intense day, and we just at 2 a.m. find ourselves walking around the Thames talking about ridiculous things.
Actually, I enjoyed them.
Yeah, I tell a lie. My favourite moment was when my feet were so sore, and I went to Tahlia and she was like, "I've got another pair of shoes you can borrow."
And you wore them the whole time as well, didn't you?
The whole time.
And it was because I bought like 5 pairs of shoes with me, and we were the same size, which I was not expecting because there's quite a height difference, isn't there? So I thought, I didn't know if we would have the same size feet or not, but I love that we did.
Just been agreeing with, you know, all the night walks and all sort of moments between each person. Yeah, definitely.
I have so many, so it's hard to choose one. First time I met Bryn, like we'd met.
Oh, I remember. Yes, actually, the acoustics. Yes, that's a big one. Yeah.
We walked into our living room that we're staying in. Like, I've got the photo of that.
Yeah.
And Bryn says to me, "Have you heard the acoustics?" I'm like, "The acoustics." And he started singing, and then he sang the song, Pippin's song from Lord of the Rings. That, you know, home is behind the world.
Oh, we did.
And then I joined in, and both of us
Many
sang it so
paths
beautifully.
to
And then
tread.
Jo enters, and she's like, "Oh God!" She knew what we were singing, so she comes in, no, and walks out. And the two of us finish the song, and she goes, and then Bryn turns to me, and goes, "I'm so glad I met you, Harry." And I'm like, "I'm so glad I met you as well, Bryn." It was just that moment that we knew like this was going to work. And then for me and Tahlia, like just the hugs. We talked about this earlier. We were saying about how Tahlia wasn't really a hugging person, but I always like to hug people. Like I'm a hugger. It's who I am. But like we just hug on set, like randomly. We're happy, we hug. We're sad, we hug. We're stressed, we hug. We're happy that we got a cup of coffee. We're happy that we finished the scene. We just randomly, do you want a hug? Yeah, come in.
Yeah.
And we just hug. And me and Jo, like it'd just be funny where the two of us would just like, just like wander aimlessly, just like, you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah. And all the yeah, just like randomly, just randomly going yeah, like on set. It was just like, and people, and then me and Tahlia, oh bugger,
Oopsie! Oh my god, how did I forget to mention that?
Big fan.
Oh bugger! The
Whoopsie.
Sherlock in my what? Oh,
our Sherlock quotes back and forth. We love that. But
and
yeah,
how
no,
much everyone just wanted to punch us by the end of it.
yeah. I think one of my favorite moments was, I think it was like we're talking about earlier, when I saw Bryn was quite hyper on the last day, and I was quite hyper because we knew that we were going to get this film done. Like we were going to finish earlier than intended, or no, it was Wednesday. So on our third day, when I was running around that morning trying to get a location, and I was like, we're not going to get it. The film's going to be, we're all dead in the water. But then the moment that the woman at the Students' Union said, "Oh, you can follow me. Is that all your bags?" Like, yeah. It's like, yeah, you can follow me. We'll just sign the contract. Just follow me. And I collapsed to the ground in joy because I was like, we got it. Nearly everything on set was always just such a joy to be around because I always like being on a film set, meeting all the wonderful people individually in some way, developing a rapport with everybody. I kind of like when we did things off set, like when me and Jo went to buy all those gifts and like the cards and stuff on, one of our days off, or doing the wrap party and having that meal at Spoons. It was lovely. It was nice just to have everybody there. And it was like these are a fantastic group of people. Like, why are we making a film? Why don't we just go on holiday? You know what I mean? Like, it was, yeah, I can't narrow it down to one, but probably just being ecstatic about location after running around like a headless chicken all morning. But then sometimes in the sad times as well, there was always someone that was consoling me. Like when I was really stressed, I think the Tuesday night, like,
Is that when you punched the wall?
no, that was Sunday night. I punched the wall.
Oh, okay.
Sunday
I
night, I punched the wall.
remember
Tuesday
that.
night, I was curled in a ball next to my bed. Like that was Tuesday night, and everyone who had come to see me had like tried to console me and say, "Are you okay?" And I'd be like, "No." And they go, "Do you want a hug? Or do you want this? What can I get you? Do you want a tea? Why don't you come outside and sing Hamilton with us? Like, let's cheer you up a bit." And they did. And then after Wednesday, and then on Thursday, when I was just so hyperactive, it was because all that sort of sadness that we had and the stress was now we're at a good moment. And then when we wrapped as well, that was kind of a fleeting moment because it was because we'd done, like, Jo, "Oh, that's a wrap," and then we're all wandering around just like, yes, we did it. I think the best reaction was Bryn when Jo asked, "Are we done?" And you were like you calculated for it. You're like, yes, we are.
The rest of the times he was like, "I think maybe not yet."
Yes, we
several takes, several shots. We were doing. Like, no,
Not there yet.
Not quite.
No, couple more. Yeah.
But it's hard to narrow it down. I just loved it all, really. Yeah. Alex asked this, funnily enough, like when we were in the Zoom call, and I quite like this question, so I'm asking it everybody.
This is a question that I've just been wondering. When I finished filming, I found it really, really hard to let go. I was just wondering, after a project or after you do something, if you're thinking about it, how do you let it go?
I think the week directly after filming was like really weird, especially going back to work. I was like, where am I like the week before just felt like a fever dream. I was like, that just wasn't real. I think since then I kind of have, but I guess that's because I've not really been involved in post-production that much apart from the poster. Not in a horrible way, but it was quite nice to kind of like let it go, because it was so much work and so much like pressure for like so many months. And especially for me, the week before and the week of was like the most intense thing I've ever experienced. So it's quite nice to feel like, okay, don't have to be a part of this bit. I'll just let it go. Can go do it all once and then I'll just see it later.
Yeah, I feel that like when I got back, and it was just like, yeah, we need this assembly cut, and I was like, can you just give me like just a week, please? It's like, no, we need it for the end of the week. I was like, okay, great, that's fine. Like I sort of wanted to take a break for like, that's why I was I understand why they wanted a quick turnaround, like I do get it, but like part of me was like, can you just give us like just 2 weeks of like, okay, right, chill, and then we'll resume. But I guess it was good because I sort of, when I did the full assembly cut, like it was kind of nice to see it as the whole thing, like what our plans were, like everything all the way through, obviously without, you know, specific transition bits and everything, but I got all the scenes in, and that was sort of nice for me to be like, okay, cool, that is everything. But then I was quite happy to let it go because I was like, I can't. Also, I like editing, but I don't know. I've realized I don't love it as much as I like other aspects of it, especially editing, because it was kind of my first time editing something that I hadn't either written or like directed or like been very instrumental. So then it's kind of hard because I don't 100% know how they want it to look. So because normally if I've written it, I'm like, yep, this is how I want it to be. But I was like, I don't know, this or this maybe. And so I was like, yeah, maybe I don't want to be like an editor that somebody pays to edit. I'd rather just film things. But it was a nice send off to be like, okay, done.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think like many people, I miss a lot of people from that film. It felt a bit, the fact that we had to leave after a week and just like be dropped back into where we lived, it was very isolated a little bit, if you know what I mean. Like, well, it didn't feel right to just go back home. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever be able to leave what we did on that week, because it was the first real experience I got for something on set, and that's something that I'm going to remember for a long time.
I like personally, I've not let it go.
I'm not letting this thing go.
No.
I know we've got to finish our premiere cut soon, but no, we're doing an extended cut and we're taking this thing further. Yeah,
all the way.
No, I've not letting it go yet either, as well, because we're working on a novelization, and I think this is the novelization is going to, you know, it gives us all a bit more chance to add like scene, or, you know, there's a lot of storyline that we wanted to include in our film but we couldn't for whichever reason. So now we get to put it in the novelization that we're, you know, that we're doing, and I think that's, you know, it kind of opens the door that we've already spoken about a sequel or doing like the full, you know, the feature length version of this film. So it's
TV series.
Yes, we mentioned that as well. So it's I haven't found it hard to let go because I don't think we have, and I don't think we probably will for a while. As long as we've all, you know, as long as we've all got each other in our lives as well, I think it's you know, we're never gonna let go of this film because this is the first thing we did together. Well,
and it won't be the last either.
No, oh, don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. I'm touching wood.
Wood. There you go.
As soon as I came home, I was like, if we be friends, lock it in a cupboard until I actually need to like physically get it out again. And I keep like peeking in and I keep shutting it again because it's caused so much stress. So much stress. I think I've aged about 40 years. I don't know. It's a fond stress. So it's nice looking back at all the nice memories because I feel like it got clouded by a lot of not so nice memories. So it's nice. And yeah, I will I will go back to the film. I will unlet it go, but for now it's like away.
I think the
That's
part
a
where we
horrible response. I'm really sorry.
don't worry about it. I think the moment we'll let it go is when the extended cut has long been done, and we're happy with it and things like that. And then when we start talking about the next project, that's when we know we've let go of If We Be Friends. But right now, we're still quite involved in making the edit and getting
Yeah.
that cut. So I'm
I don't think we'll ever be able to let go of it. I feel like it'll always have like a special place.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of us, probably as kind of got repeated through the filming while we were in Greenwich, we're all, for some of us, this is the first experience on a film set. But I mean, or, doing this kind of thing where we're, we've got a budget and we've, got a budget that we've had to raise, and then we've got to make the film. And I feel like it's kind of like a really defining moment. I think this experience has not been easy at all. But I think it says a lot that we've all come away and we're still, dedicated to get the best cut and continuing to do this, for example. And I think that says a lot about not letting go as well. Is it would be very easy to let go if it probably should be very easy for us to kind of let go, considering all the stuff that has happened on.
Yeah.
But we've not, and we're still here, and we're still carrying on, and we're carrying on willingly and gladly, and looking forward to doing stuff like this tonight, and making plans, and looking forward to the screening, and getting the best cut, and just doing all of this post-production stuff together. So I think that says a lot about this film and every and the whole letting go thing. And it kind of ties into the fact that we probably never will, as long as we're in the industry, we probably never will let go of this.
So that's it for the Roundtable crew interview. It's been such a pleasure having you all. So I'd like to thank Bryn, Joe, Tahlia, Gabrielle, Amy, and Morgan. And a big massive thank you to all cast and crew who sadly couldn't be at this Roundtable interview, but have done fantastic work for the film. And I look forward to seeing them all at the premiere, as well as further on within the future. Thank you all so much. You have a good night and take care.